I wanted to talk to you today about the role of future manifesting meditations. So, I have been reading Joe Dispenza, and particularly his book, Becoming Supernatural, and trying to fit it into the context, or not actually trying to fit it, trying to understand how it can fit into what I know about healing and just how I want to use it in my life and in my work. And I had a really powerful experience leading this style of meditation last Saturday night. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about how I'm thinking about it, because he has a lot of science behind his work. He has some brilliant ideas, really telling us that so much of our dis-ease is because we are living through the past. Our bodies are programmed by the past, and in order to create a different present, and a different future, that we can create that by training our mind into a future that we create. So, how can we do that? How is that different than having positive intentions or positive thinking, which, as we know, that's not enough, to heal chronic disease. That's not enough to really change people who, are any kind of long-term deep struggle. So this is my framework, and this is what I've understood, from what he says and how I understand it to be. We need to do any kind of future manifesting work in a place of very deep presence. So Joe calls it in an alpha or even a theta brainwave state. Right now I'm in a beta wave state. I'm active, I'm talking to you, and I'm not in a place of super still, deep, calm mind. So if I intend something, I will be intending it with my mind. And when we can access much deeper levels of stillness, and then when we can imagine, visualize, live in the future that we want to create. So maybe that's free of some constraints, in your health, as an example. When we can create a really clear intention while in that alpha or theta state, and we can feel it so clearly that the emotion that is associated with it, an elevated emotion, can be actually felt, in the body. Then, according to his philosophy, a clear intention and an elevated emotion has an effect on matter. And I believe that to be true, from my experience. What is interesting is, how do we get to that place of deep stillness? If we need to do this healing work in a place of such deep stillness, how do we actually get there? Because that's actually the obstacle for most people. And that's where I think, from my perspective, we need a bit of a hybrid, in our practices. Because in order to consistently hold that place of very, very, very still mind, very, very slow vibration, we have to have a certain degree of peace, with where we are right now. And that's, again, where I see most people struggling. People are caught up in the story of their lives and in the story of their struggles and their conditions. And that prevents them from being able to get to a place of stillness where this healing work is possible. So, to do some therapy, to do some meditation with yourself that creates enough acceptance, and often that requires being able to access who's really upset, who's really hurting. Because again, in our adult selves, we're so reasonable. And most of the time that we are triggered or unable to let go of something, or really bothered, even if there are circumstances in the present that are bothersome, when we can really attend to our inner child and when we can attend to our wounded self, then we have a perspective, we have an acceptance or a capacity to arrive at acceptance of what is. And just to hold ourselves in whatever way we can and let the people around us be who they are, because that's who they are anyway. So my outlook and kind of answers, future self meditation, yes, I think it's incredibly powerful. And I think that it needs to be balanced with learning what I call meditation as medicine, to be able to really learn to hold ourselves through our stuff, and make use of greater support to be able to add to our resources, so that as we're holding ourselves, there's more capacity now than there would have been in the past, and enables us to go into witnessing, certain things that could have been traumatic without being re-traumatized, because we're learning to do it with a whole structure of many more resources at our disposal right now. So it's very different than going back in and reliving trauma. What's needed is to be witnessed, for us to witness ourselves. And the more we do that, that frees up energy that we can be present. And then as we're present, back to the original conversation is, are we talking about future manifestation meditation? Then that enables us to create, when we have access to more of our energy, more of our creative energy is freed up, and we can create whatever we want to create in our lives. And I believe that's where Joe's tools are so powerful. So I'd love to hear your experiences of any aspect of this and how you're working with yourself in your healing. And have a wonderful day.